Prince Harry continues his campaign, and the media have picked this up today. And Harry is a figure who, like his late mother, Princess Diana, is a symbol of public fascination and also a victim of press intrusion. And this goes beyond celebrity gossip. It confronts fundamental questions of accountability, justice, media ethics, particularly in the UK. And this week, he takes his stand against Rupert Murdoch's news group newspapers, the NGN, the publisher of The Sun and the now defunct News of the World. And the trial is not just about phone hacking or dodgy journalism. It's a crusade against what Harry calls endemic, large-scale, unlawful information gathering. And it's about acts that allegedly go back to the 1990s, I would say probably even before that. And for Harry, this is personal. It's about holding a powerful institution accountable for the harm inflicted on him, his family, and countless others. He's joined by Lord Tom Watson, the former Labour deputy leader and a tireless advocate for press regulation during his time on the Parliamentary Culture, Media and Sport Select Committee. And they are the last claimants standing in a case that for many, including Hugh Grant and Sienna Miller, felt financially forced to abandon. Settlements, after all, are easier for media conglomerates with deep pockets, as my old MP, Dr. Evan Harris, once remarked in his work with Hacked Off. Newsgroup newspapers has long denied allegations of wrongdoing at The Sun. It has apologised for hacking at News of the World, closed the newspaper and paid over £1 billion in settlements. But this case digs deeper, alleging a cover-up involving destroyed emails and the deception by the system during the 2011 Leveson inquiry into media ethics. And Prince Harry's claims, now narrowed due to statute limitations, focuses on blagging, obtaining information through deception, tapping phones, and even rifling through bins. And NGN vehemently denies these allegations, describing them as unsustainable. Yet the trial may expose broader truths about how journalism's dark arts operated for years under the guise of public interest reporting. And the stakes are monumental. For Prince Harry, this trial represents a moral crusade for accountability, and he's described himself as the last man standing, determined to bring to light the practices he says caused irreparable harm to his family and to others. For NGN, a defeat could shatter its long-held narrative that phone hacking was the work of a few bad apples. If the court finds evidence of a corporate-wide cover-up, it could lead to seismic consequences, not only for NGN, but for the broader media landscape. Testimonies from whistleblowers, politicians and victims will be pivotal, including potential appearances by Hugh Grant, Sienna Miller, and even the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown. The trial also highlights how financial risk shapes access to justice. Most claimants settled because they could not afford to keep going to court, with some like Hugh Grant fearing liabilities of up to £10 million. The amount that they might have won is outstripped by the amount they have to pay out. And Harry can afford to push forward, not for financial gain, but for the principle. And as his lawyer stated, the case is about truth and accountability, even if the only people who actually make money out of this are the lawyers. Prince Harry's battle reminds us of the need for robust media regulation, and the Leveson inquiry sparked critical debates, but its second phase, intended to investigate cover-ups, was shelved, just as the real investigation into reality TV was shelved. Basically, government seems to connive with these incredibly powerful forces in media. And without that second investigation, we're left with incomplete answers and lingering doubts about the media's capacity for self-regulation. My former MP, Evan Harris, who was very helpful to me, once argued that reform to protect claimants pursuing cases of public interest from being coerced into settlements is needed. His advocacy underscores the imbalance of power between individuals and media giants, an imbalance this case seeks to redress. So, watching this courtroom drama unfold, we should be reminded of the enduring tension between press freedom and accountability. And press freedom to do wrong is not freedom, is it? You cannot be free to do wrong. You can only be free to do right. And while While a free press is vital to democracy, it must operate within the boundaries of proper ethics. And the pursuit of headlines cannot justify unlawful intrusion or the destruction of lives, just as distortions of what people say must be condemned. Prince Harry's fight is, in many ways, emblematic of our society's struggle to reconcile these values. Whether he wins or loses, his courage in standing up to a media empire is an act of defiance that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the cost of unchecked power. Prince Harry, whatever the media might say about him, whatever you might think about him, is in this instance absolutely a hero who needs to be saluted. Prince Harry is doing the right thing. Now, it could have been done by anybody with pockets deep enough to do it. But he needs our respect and he needs our support. And I think he needs to be praised. The time for digging at Harry is past. The time now has come to rally around Harry and recognise the value of his campaign.
Greetings, royal watchers and truth seekers. Welcome to Sussex Ambassador. We're here to offer an alternative take on the Sussex narrative, to peel back the layers of traditional UK media storytelling. Our mission? To shed light on the truth, to challenge the status quo, and to offer a platform where the voices of Harry and Meghan can truly be heard. We invite you to question, to engage, to explore. Ensure you subscribe to stay informed and join our growing community. The UK media, as we know, hasn't always painted a balanced picture of Harry and Meghan. The narrative spun has often been one-sided, biased and unfair, swaying public opinion against the Sussexes. It's important to scrutinise this narrative, to peel back the layers and see the injustice underneath. Let's take a look at some of the headlines. Meghan's post-royal wardrobe is worth thousands. Harry and Meghan quit royal life. Meghan's extravagant baby shower. Each headline, each story, seems to be designed to cast the Sussexes in a negative light, a light that is often disproportionate to their actions and certainly not mirrored when it comes to other members of the royal family. The narrative has been one of extravagance, of betrayal, of disregard for tradition. But beneath these headlines, there's a different story. A story of a couple who wanted to forge their own path, who wanted to use their platform for good, who wanted to break free from the constraints of an outdated institution. But the media's portrayal of their actions has been anything but fair. It's been a game of shadows and mirrors, a distortion of reality. It's been a narrative that's been carefully curated to stoke the fires of public outrage, to fuel the narrative of them as the bad guys. The way Meghan has been treated by the media in particular is nothing short of a witch hunt. The constant scrutiny, the racist undertones, the blatant disregard for her mental health. It's a narrative that's been spun to make her the villain, to make her the other, to make her less than. This narrative is not just damaging, but also steers the public away from the truth. It's a narrative that's been perpetuated by the media, but also in part by the royal family itself. It's a narrative that needs to be challenged, that needs to be questioned, that needs to be changed. Because the truth, the real story, is far more complex, far more nuanced than the headlines would have you believe. The royal family, too, has had a hand in this unfair portrayal. It's time to delve into the role the royal family played in the narrative surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It's a tale as old as time, of power, prestige, and a certain degree of prejudice. The royal family, with its centuries-old traditions and protocols, has always been a bastion of British society. But when it came to the Sussexes, their response, or rather lack thereof, left a lot to be desired. It's almost as if the walls of the palace were too high, the moat too wide, for their voices of support to reach the couple. There's an old saying, silence speaks volumes, and in this case, the royal family's silence was deafening. It was not just their lack of defence, but their seeming indifference to the Sussexes' plight that stung the most. As Harry and Meghan faced a barrage of negative press, the silence from the palace was in many ways an endorsement of the unfair narrative. The Sussexes weren't just battling the media, they were up against an institution that failed to protect them. The royal family's role was not just passive, it was in many ways complicit. An institution with such influence and reach could have done more, should have done more. While the Sussexes showed resilience and strength in the face of adversity, it's heartbreaking to think that they were left to fend for themselves. The royal family, the very institution that should have been their haven, became a part of the storm they were trying to weather. And so we're left with a bitter taste, a feeling of disappointment. The royal family, an institution steeped in history and tradition, missed an opportunity to rewrite its narrative, to show that it could adapt and embrace change. Instead, it remained rigid, silent, and complicit. It's clear that the Sussexes have been left to fend for themselves. The royal family's role in this narrative is a stark reminder that sometimes the greatest battles are fought not on the front lines, but within the walls of our own homes. But not everyone is against Harry and Meghan. Professor Tim Wilson has shown his unwavering support. And it's not just a mere pat on the back. It's a profound understanding and acknowledgement of the struggle that Harry and Meghan have faced and continue to face in their quest for a more private life. Professor Wilson, a highly respected academic, has time and again thrown his weight behind Harry. He's not just a casual observer. He's studied the situation, analysed it, and come to his conclusions. And his conclusions are clear. He believes the time has come to recognise the value of Harry's campaign. But what does this really mean? To Professor Wilson, it's about changing the narrative. It's about recognising that Harry and Meghan are not just royal renegades, but individuals seeking to protect their privacy and the privacy of their children. It's about acknowledging the courage it takes to stand up to the mighty forces of tradition and media scrutiny. And it's not just about the here and now. Professor Wilson is looking to the future, to the upcoming court case. He sees it as a pivotal moment, a watershed. It's not just Harry's court case. It's about everyone's right to privacy. It's about setting a precedent that could change the way the media operates. To Professor Wilson, this court case is the embodiment of Harry's campaign. It's about standing up to the media, about challenging the status quo. It's about making a statement that enough is enough. And Professor Wilson is right there with him, standing shoulder to shoulder in support. In the midst of the storm that is the relentless criticism and scrutiny, Professor Wilson's support is a beacon of hope. It's a reminder that there are those who understand, those who empathise, and those who are willing to stand up and be counted. Professor Wilson's support is a beacon of hope amidst the storm. His unwavering backing for Harry and Meghan sends out a clear message that they are not alone in their fight, that there are voices of reason amidst the cacophony of criticism. It's a powerful endorsement and one that is sure to resonate with many. The court case is imminent. It's time to hear the truth from the court itself. As we delve into the looming court case, it's imperative to understand the charges at hand. Harry, the Duke of Sussex, stands firmly against the UK media, a powerhouse that has shown little regard for the privacy and dignity of the Sussexes. The fight that Harry and Meghan have taken up is not just for themselves, but for anyone who has ever felt the crushing weight of unrelenting public scrutiny. The charges brought forth are serious, and they revolve around false and damaging narratives spun by the media, invading the couple's privacy and infringing upon their basic human rights. The Sussexes' fight is a bold stand against the established order, a sign of defiance against the powerful media machinery that seems to decide the fates of public figures. What does this court case mean for the Sussexes? It's a chance to reclaim their narrative, to challenge the media's power and to fight for their right to privacy. It's a chance to expose the truth, to shed light on the damaging practices of the media, and to set a precedent for future public figures who may find themselves in the Sussexes' shoes. This court case is an opportunity to reset the scales of justice. A victory for the Sussexes would be a victory for every individual who has ever been wronged by the media. It's a chance for the court to send a clear message to the media, that their power is not absolute, and that they too are accountable for their actions. This case is a battle for truth, for justice, and for the right to live without fear of being misrepresented or maligned. As we stand on the precipice of this monumental court case, the world watches, holding its breath and hoping for justice. As we await the court's decision, we stand with Harry and Meghan. As we close today's session, we extend our solidarity with the Sussexes. We've journeyed through the maze of misinformation and the unfair narrative spun by the UK media. It's been a revealing exploration, one that has shown us the importance of standing up for what is right, even when the opposition seems insurmountable. Today we've delved into the role of the royal family, the trials faced by Harry and Meghan, and the unwavering support of advocates like Professor Tim Wilson. We've seen the strength of those who refuse to be silenced, who choose to challenge the status quo. It's a powerful testament to the human spirit, to the power of truth and justice. But our journey doesn't end here. Every day we must continue to question the mainstream narrative, to seek out the truth and stand in support of those who are unjustly targeted. We must remember that change is a collective effort, and each one of us has a part to play. So, let's continue to rally behind Harry and Meghan, to offer them our support, to amplify their voices, and to challenge the harmful narratives. Let's strive for a world where fairness and justice are not just ideals, but realities. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, like and share. Farewell from Sussex Ambassador.